Wrestling fans, he's my tag team partner, Daniel Snyder. I'm Jeremy York from Impact Media, and we are here to talk fabulous wrestling talk all about WWE King and Queen of the Ring. First off, Daniel, how are you?
Always good, bud. Always good. I'm glad to be off of work. Always glad to be off of work. It was a rough 5 days.
Oh yeah, because once again, you're one of those people that walk around with a bullseye on your back all the time. It just makes that much
It's a
more
tough
work for
life.
you.
Yeah, tough
It is
life.
dodging all those
But
arrows.
I got to walk around and watch the King and Queen of the Ring with the bullseye on my back. So that's positive.
Yeah, see, if it wouldn't get you in trouble, see, I'd just walk around with you and just keep asking questions about the store and just keep watching the phone the whole time. And it'd be the most, especially if we had somebody walking around with us that you couldn't see, like in the shadows that are like recording. It's like, what are these two knuckleheads doing? Well, I don't
That'd
know.
be
Well, he's,
interesting.
he's and then finally somebody go, all right, you're fired and you're banned from the store. Get out. All right. But yeah, and then without telling the whole story, because I'm gonna get into it. We're going to right after this show, we're going to record the WWE show. I mean the AEW show, and you got to meet Clay.
Yeah. Great guy. Him and Billy came to Target. We'll call him out. And
Yeah, Clay, great guy. Billy,
yeah. Um,
he
he
has
told
friends
me a
like us.
little.
So how good can he really be?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he obviously not the smartest. Um, we talked a little bit about wrestling. We talked a little bit about Robert Gibson. Because I watched y'all's show. It's crazy. I watched y'all's show earlier that day before I went to
Mhm.
work, or it might have been the night before anyway.
Yeah,
And I just asked him a couple of stuff that he mentioned on the AEW show. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, good guy.
I mean, to say that him and Robert Gibson are buddies might be understating what the word buddies means.
I,
In
I,
fact, if the last
he's going
we
to
went to
Florida.
one of the Deep South wrestling shows, and Gibson actually he rode up there with us, and
Hey, don't
that was
don't do
pretty cool.
that. Yeah, don't talk about that. If they want to see that, they need to go watch last week's AEW show with y'all
Well,
too, because y'all
that's as
talked
much of the
about it.
show as I mean of the story I can tell. The rest of it's on the
Okay,
episode.
that's right. Yeah, y'all go watch the episode of them. They'll talk about it. That's what had me talking to him about it. Is I watched the episode and I thought it was interesting that I'm gonna throw a little tad back that Robert Gibson has stories about Andre the Giant, which is wild. But I
Oh,
told him to bring Robert up there one day after a day of hanging out. Come see me at Tarjay.
you might or at least you might be like me, 8 or 10 year old Daniel may be jumping out of his skin, but modern day Daniel has to keep it together, keep it professional, and go, yes, sir. Can I help you find a Keurig
Anything,
or
you're
a
right.
Jumanji 2 DVD?
Anything you need, sir. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be super cool to meet him.
No, he's as cool as you think he is. I'll leave it at that. Anybody who hadn't met Robert Gibson, he's as cool and laid back as you think he is.
Love that.
But we'll talk more about Robert Gibson on a later date. In fact, maybe we'll have him on here at some point because I'm sure he watches. I don't know if he watches this show, but I'm sure he
But
watches
he
the pay
watches
per
the other
view
one.
show.
Yeah.
And kudos once again to WWE for not just calling it King of the Ring, because we have the women's tournament too, the King and Queen of the Ring. I thought it was really cool they did that in Saudi Arabia because I don't know if you noticed, all of the women were fully covered all the way to the ends of the hands and feet, all the way up to the neck. That's a culture thing. That's totally cool because you're in their country, so you're under their rules. And I thought that was really cool that they highlighted so much great female talent in the WWE while doing it in a country like Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it was, and I think they started off the pre-show was the tag team championship.
Mhm.
Um, Bianca and Jade.
Mhm.
Uh, I felt like there was, I don't know, like there was a couple missteps in that match. You can see they're still trying to get used to each other, and as a
Yeah.
tag team.
And Jade's only been wrestling for like 3 years total. She did like 2.5 in AEW, and then now she's been kind of working at the Performance Center down in NXT just to practice a lot until she's up on the main roster now. But she's only about 3 years deep. She's just that athletic.
And there's, I mean, and obviously it's going to take a minute or two to build the chemistry with Bianca.
Yeah.
But
And
it
at
was a
some
decent
point,
match.
yeah, at some point you get the two of them to face off, and that'll be kind of fun.
That's going to be at
Um,
WrestleMania next year.
yeah. Now I know one thing. We kind of figured out the way the men's King of the Ring was because when we recorded last, when we were doing the preview, we didn't know if it was going to be RKO or Tama Tonga. You brought up the fact that once Randy won, it was going to be Gunther versus Randy. We both thought that, but you said, yeah, it's the one thing that Randy hasn't won. And I thought, you're right. He's won everything from Survivor Series
And they
to
brought it up as well.
WrestleMania to the yeah. And we'll talk more about if he actually wins it there or not. But I thought, for one, him versus Tama, this showed everybody how good Tama Tonga really is, that he can hang with Randy Orton. He probably can't beat him unless he's on his absolute best day. But Tama Tonga is, I think he's 40 or 40, I think he's 41. And Randy Orton's like 45 or 46. And those two wrestle like they're 20.
I didn't see SmackDown, so
It was
but
good.
I'm pretty sure they did. I thought Randy was about my age. I thought he was about 42 himself.
No, I think he's closer to 44, 45, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
um,
could be wrong.
he's still got it in him though. I mean, he's had obviously. I think he's been wrestling way longer than Tama.
Oh, yeah. I mean, probably so, but they're both. Well, no, Randy's third generation, but Tama's second generation, and it shows. They were brought up. They knew.
Well, I mean, isn't who is it? Haku or Fatu? That's Tama's dad,
Haku. Haku.
and it was Haku's parents not in it too.
I don't think so. I mean, without sound, I don't want it to sound as bad as it's about to sound, but I think that he might be a first generation American on his family. I think his parents may have been from Tonga or somewhere in there.
So he wasn't related to the Rock's granddad.
He he might be in there somewhere because I mean, Jimmy Snuka's in there somewhere, and I need to look at that big
But who
chart that was
knows?
behind
Yeah,
Roman at
that
that
big
press
chart. Yeah,
conference. I got it
yeah,
somewhere on my phone, but it'll take me longer to find it than it will for us to just.
yeah. I mean, but regardless, I mean, they both got it in their blood, and it's obvious when they're in the ring.
Oh yeah, but we got to see Gunther versus Randy Orton, and as I always say, the opening match of any card is what you consider your second best match on paper.
Because
We could
it's the
argue,
set.
but I say we could argue where this is in the actual how good it was, but they definitely tore the house down early on.
Yeah, and I mean, it was great. The ending, I feel like something happened because
I
if
think
you
Randy got hurt.
look, well, it's not even that, but if you look, his shoulders weren't down,
No, and
and
also there's a theory that they did that that was a Triple H call, so as not to bury Randy and get him, a clean finish by the bad guy on a pay-per-view like that. That something a little thing here or there. It makes it where you can have them rematch down the road. Obviously, not for a
yeah.
crown.
But
Like the
something
thing I
that was
took away though is Gunther. I've never seen him put that crown on. Like he held it, and then on Raw the next night, he held it again, like it was a frisbee, or like he was hanging onto a hubcap. And I've never seen him actually put that crown on his head, and that's kind of interesting to me.
he that is very interesting. I didn't realize that. But something that I did not know going into the show was the winner of each would get a championship title
Yeah,
match.
this is
So
only the
which
second time ever that that's a stipulation.
and it made more sense that Gunther won because Damian Priest is he going after Damian or Cody?
Gunther is Raw, so he'll be going after Priest. That's the way they explained it
So
on the pay-per-view was since you had a
yeah,
Raw person SmackDown that whoever won was going after that champion. So I mean, we could
so
still get Cody versus Randy.
but what I'm confused about is who's going to be the heel here? Because both Priest and Gunther are almost tiptoeing that line.
Gunther's
Or
the
am I
heel.
wrong? So
Gunther's
you
the
think
heel.
Priest is going to be the face?
Yeah, I
You
think he's too popular. He's like hanging out with Rhea, and Rhea's really popular. And then they might boo Dominic, but they like everybody else in that whole faction, even though it's falling apart. Although
so
they've
does
kind of had a resurgence. The Judgment Day have had a little resurgence recently.
do they take? I mean, I think Carlito has a lot of help with that as well. Um,
Yeah,
so
sort of.
they're gonna take the title off of Priest then? Like how is this going to play out?
I don't know. We got between now and SummerSlam, which is about 2 months away. I would like to see how this plays out because I can make an argument for either one of them. Gunther does deserve a chance with the belt, but I would argue that I would let Priest kind of ride it out till October, November before I took it off him.
But I think how everything goes down over the next June and July will they probably will if it is going to be at SummerSlam then it probably will come off of him at SummerSlam. It'll be
Yeah,
Gunther's title at SummerSlam.
probably so. It because
But I think they
well, they
also want to see
also
how the crowd's reacting to him as being king as well. It's
right.
like Triple H, that's one thing I like about Triple H. He listens to the crowd. He's a fan guy.
And actually, Gunther's really good at doing that. You can kind of tell. Sometimes you'll see him look around, and sometimes you'll see like his demeanor change. Like, okay, I hear you. You like that, or you didn't like that. Okay, well, that's what we're gonna do. You can kind of see that he's got a pretty good mind for it.
So yeah. So I mean, we both called it Gunther won. It's gonna be interesting how it goes from here.
Yeah. And then they actually followed that up with the Queen of the Ring, where you got to see Lyra. I mean, let's start there. What was your overall takeaway from the first time you saw Lyra Valkyria?
I see the star in her. I see they're like, you know what, Becky's stepping away for a while. She will fill in Becky's spot. She is going to be a future champion. Um, she has a lot to offer, and I could see why they had her as an NXT champion. I see why they moved her up. Um, I just I went in not knowing. I just didn't think they were going to um not put the Queen of the Ring on Nia or Nia. Um, I felt like, which I mentioned it in our pre-show,
You
that
did.
Nia was going to win, and I just feel like you need somebody bad and somebody, and like just what came to my mind was Mabel, who eventually became Viscera. Um,
Yeah.
she's a big bad person, and she was very emotional. Triple H got in there, he hugged her.
Yeah, I like that part.
Yes, and then she turned evil. You know, she let her true emotions show, and then she turned back to her normal bad person. I'm the heel, and now y'all got to see me run. Um, who is the champion she's going to be facing?
So she is
SmackDown, right?
Raw.
Oh, she's
She
Raw
is
as well.
Raw. I believe she's Raw. So her and Liv. It's going to be her because I mean, spoiler alert. We're going to talk about
Are you
that in a
sure
minute.
she's
The
not
only
SmackDown?
champion. No, no, no. It's she's Raw because she faced Bianca and Bianca is also Raw. I'm pretty sure. I think Lyra was. I think she's SmackDown if I remember. And for
Okay,
one, Nia versus Liv, and like I said, we're going to talk about Liv and Becky Lynch next, and that's going to get into my theory. You mentioned part of what I'm going to get into, but yeah, I just wanted early on, Lara, you can see it. You can see why they kind of handpicked it. You're going to need somebody to fill in that Becky Lynch spot who is taking a little bit of time away. I love that Nia got emotional, like you said, because Triple H is looking at her, and he shook Gunther's hand, but like he hugged Nia for a second, and then she backed away, and then all of a sudden, I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan. All of a sudden, she was the Queen of Hearts, and she was off with their head. she just turned into the evil queen so quick, and I that's when I said, you know what, this yeah, Daniel had this nailed, that the evil queen is way better than the up and comer. She's way too new to win this.
Yeah, and that's what I felt like. I felt like she was too fresh to be putting that on her. They want to see what they have out of her. I could see her possibly winning the Royal Rumble next year for women.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that, or Money in the Bank.
You know what? I could see Money in the Bank more than the Royal Rumble. Okay, I
Yeah.
totally forgot about Money in the Bank. I could see that more than the Royal Rumble, and possibly setting up a her versus who's that on SmackDown that has it, the hugger, uh, SmackDown
Um.
Women's Champion. Why is I can't think of her name? The hugger. She used to hug everybody.
Um.
You're drawing a blank too.
Yeah. Uh SmackDown champion right now is she wasn't on this show, and that's what throws me off.
You know, because she beat.
Not it's not Charlotte because she's not back
No,
yet.
no, no. The hugger. She used to have the little when she first came
Oh,
out.
yeah, I feel bad now. That's Bailey.
Bailey, yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of her
It's
name.
because she's not Bad Bailey. I told you I like Bad Bailey way more than Good Bailey.
And it's
And
gonna
Good
be
Bailey's
and
fantastic. Good Bailey's a Hall of Famer. Bad Bailey is an all timer.
but Bailey's going to end up. It's going to be them two. She's going to end up taking the title off of Bailey probably. Oh girl,
Like that. And Bailey should turn heel during that.
yes, because she's better as Bad Bailey. But we're getting way off track.
Yeah. I did not realize that wherever I'm at right now, there's weird lighting in this. It like darker lighting. It's kind of weird. I should watch myself. But that leads us to, congratulations, Nia, as we've said. That leads us to Becky Lynch versus Liv. The interesting wrinkle, there's two massive wrinkles in this. First off, for the second time, no, this was the first time. He did it again on Raw. I don't know if you watched Raw. He did it again on Raw.
I
Dominic
missed it.
Mysterio comes down to ruin Liv's
I
night
seen that
and
part. I seen that part.
inadvertently flips it. He did it on Raw too. He's done it twice in a
And he got a
row,
kiss out of it.
and
I would have done it too.
he's gotten two. One was supposed to be on the pay-per-view, and it got edited out or left out or something from what I heard. So they doubled down and did it again on Monday, or Liv did it on her own. But so now you got Liv, and then Rhea when she comes back, you're going to kind of see that going. I think you're going to see that match, and then the winner of that is going to take on Nia at SummerSlam. But like I said, they got that wrinkle. Now that's an interesting wrinkle. That actually makes me a little bit of a Dominic Mysterio fan, not because I'm jealous, because that's not the angle I'm taking on this, but it's very entertaining the way they're doing that, the way they're crossing that up. But the biggest story coming out of this is that Becky Lynch needed to drop the title because she's about to take a hiatus and her contract is coming up, and she's going to be one of the highest paid female athletes on the planet.
You think there's a chance she goes to AEW?
There's obviously the rumor because she's faced everybody in WWE. I mean, there's not really anybody left that she hasn't faced. At some point, you kind of this is I have the back end of this argument is what I think sells it. Like, there's a lot of really good people in AEW that I feel like adding her to. It's a lesser schedule, things like that. But there's a particular other person who's on a hiatus right now, and his contract's coming up too. And
Are
it
we talking
happens to
about
be
Seth?
we're talking about Seth freaking Rollins, who would obviously have to go back to being Tyler Black or whatever he wants to call himself. But
Do you think that Triple H lets him get away?
he may
That
not
is
have a
that is true.
choice. If Seth
You,
I mean, you
you
got to
think he
think
would want to leave? To me, he's
basically
became the Triple
lighter
H of.
schedule, lighter schedule. He's going to get fresh opponents. I mean, think about Seth freaking Rollins versus Will Ospreay. They could wrestle
Did
for an
we
hour, and I don't care who wins. It can be a double count out for all I care.
didn't we have an
There's so many
opportunity for
dream
that when he was
matches.
in WWE?
No, I don't think those two have ever faced off. There's so many dream matches like that that just instant classics. On top of, it's not like the two of them can't call their good buddy John Moxley and say, "Hey, what's AEW like? Compare it to WWE." And Mox will probably go, "Hey, it's freaking awesome. You can pretty much do your own schedule. I wrestle in Japan. I'm the heavyweight champion in Japan, and yet I'm defending it over here at AEW. That's how cool it is. You can call your shot. And Seth
I
Rollins would go, I'm home more with my little kid and my wife. I can actually wrestle on the same nights that my wife do and not be swapped back and forth like they do them sometimes. And I can go wrestle in Japan or Mexico or Puerto Rico or Neptune. That sounds good. If I told you you could
I
make similar, possibly better, possibly slightly worse money than you do right now, but you get to make your own schedule, you get to work less, you kind of have to consider it.
I mean, yeah, everything you're saying makes sense, and I mean, it sounds good, but I truly like
Oh, he is Mr. WWE. I give you that.
yes, yes, and the stuff that he gave everybody that's left and came back, CM Punk, um,
This is
who
this is
else
the Live
is?
Golf Tour. You know, you can be Rory McIlroy and backhand a compliment and just flat out go after people that leave the PGA to go to Live Tour, and then they offer you a big enough number, and you go to the Live Tour, and you go, you know what, money talks.
I don't see Seth leaving. And honestly, I don't think I don't see neither one of them leaving. They might use AEW as a way to get more money out of WWE. That
To
I
get the
could see
Roman
happening.
schedule.
Yes, yes. So I could see that, but I don't see Seth freaking Rollins is Mr. WWE. He is more than John Cena. To me, he is the next John Cena when it comes to Mr. WWE.
Okay, I can see that. But
Because
yeah,
he also
that's
gave
that's the
Cody
big
Rhodes
stories.
crap about leaving and then coming back. So everybody
Well,
that's
he should.
left and went there. Well, yeah, so I'm saying, but how you gonna do that to me when you're now doing the same thing? I don't know.
It's called being
I
a.
just
It's
I
called being a. It's called being American.
businessman. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I look.
We yell
I'm
at
gonna be
everybody
honest.
else until we do it too.
As much as your buddy over there on the other side is against WWE because he is not a WWE fan. That's how I am
Not
with
really.
that's how I am with AEW. I'm not an AEW fan. I love some of the stuff they do, but I don't watch it. I don't care to. Um, so it just kind of I don't like the sound. I'm okay with Becky leaving. Maybe just Becky, but I need Seth freaking
Maybe.
Rollins to stay in WWE.
And that's possible. You could only get one, you could get both, you could get none. I mean, we don't know, but that's the hot topic right now, and we had to at least address it. And you guys kind of hear. I guess I didn't. I just said the possibility of it. What do I think could happen? The highest possibility. If anybody's going to go, she will, because like I said, there's so many dream opponents she just hadn't had. Even if she goes for a couple years and then comes back, you know. But yeah, I don't see Seth. Seth might get a Roman Reigns type deal out of this, but I don't see a reason. Triple H has lost too many free agents he tried to bring in, and he's lost too many out the door that he's just going to say, here's the checkbook. You just say a number, I'll double it, and just hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, then we moved to what I thought was going to be the time filler, and this actually turned into a pretty solid match. Sami Zayn defended his title against Chad Gable with Otis and Bronson Reed. I really thought, you didn't need all three out there, but by the end of it, you needed all four of them out there because Otis was kind of picking up the slack when all three of them were just out of it. So I mean, it kind of worked really well.
Yeah, it was a good match. I think I said that Chad was going to win because of Otis, and it's kind of funny how
Almost did.
the opposite happened because of Otis.
Hmm.
Um, but it was very entertaining. I like Otis. This was my first time ever seeing Bronson Reed. I've seen
What do
him,
you
but
think of
see
Bronson?
him in a match. I like Bronson. He's going to be a good heel. Um, it just it hurts that WWE's got so many good big heels. And I don't know if Bronson Reed could be a good face.
He could.
Do you think so?
He would
I
have to
just
say a lot less than he does now, and he don't talk that much at all.
and it's just because I'm seeing what they're doing once again. I'm always going to go back to this guy, Braun Breaker. I see what they're doing with him. Um, I'm a big Braun fan, and that's one big bad guy. Then you've got obvious Gunther, another big bad guy. Um, you've got eventually the Wyatt Six coming back. There's some
Yep.
possibly
You got
possibly
Chad
Braun
Gable.
Strowman. Yes. So, well, Chad Gable's not really that big. I'm just thinking of big bad guys.
No. Oh, okay. You talking big wise. Okay. I thought you meant
Yeah.
heels in general. I was like, Chad's one of the better heels they got right now.
Oh, but see, Chad. Once again, I love and see that's why I thought Chad was going to win because he is Kurt Angle 2.0. Everything you suck is, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
surprised they're not pushing him to that.
I think
It,
they wanna hint towards it, but they don't want to flat out say we're copying Kurt.
is he that good? I mean, is he good enough to be 2.0?
His promos are good. They're not on Kurt level because I mean Kurt just I don't he wasn't afraid
It's
to
like,
say anything and Chad's more rehearsed with what he does. He's a lot more polished. And he's 3 inches shorter, which is a little different. But
yeah,
other than that, he's not far away from being Kurt Jr. anyway, and that's not a bad person to be. It's that's like if you said now he's not at all, but that's like if you said uh Braun Breaker was a mini Brock Lesnar. That's not that far of a stretch either. I think
yeah.
he's way better than that. He's just out a foot shorter. Because Braun's only like 5'9", 5'10". He
No, Braun's got to be at least 6'1".
I've
Are you
stood next to him.
sure?
I've stood next to him, and I'm right at 6 foot, and he's under me.
Now you're gonna
Unless
make me
he
have to
grew
look
since
at
he
a.
left Kennesaw, you can't go by what they bill him. They might bill him at 6'4".
Oh, I was gonna look it up, see what they got him on Waika, but
Oh,
but
he's 5'10", 5'11" on a good day.
wow, I always thought. So how big was Scott?
Scott's about 6'2", 6'3", I
Scott
think.
Steiner was?
It's been a while since I've stood next to him too. So I've now Rick I think is a little shorter, but I haven't seen either one of them live in a long time. So he'll
Yeah.
take me a minute.
Okay. I always thought, I don't know. I guess once again they do make them look bigger than what they are. I mean, camera angle's always big. But once again, got off track. One of my favorite spots in that match was the triple or the double belly to
German.
belly, not belly, but yeah, German suplex. Yeah. I
And that
like,
it wasn't Bronson doing both of them.
yeah,
It was
Chad.
Chad doing Bronson doing
That's
Sammy.
yes, and that to me was great. Um, I'm we both thought they were taking the title off of Sammy,
Yeah.
but
I do think
they
Bronson is the one to do it, but I think it's going to be on a one-on-one. You're going to see Chad kind of split off from this trio, and somehow, and I think maybe at SummerSlam, but I do think they've given Sammy the run that he deserved, along with that tag title when he did with KO, and their way of saying we appreciate everything you do, and here's the title for a while. But Bronson Reed needs that title. Sammy doesn't.
I agree, and I think they probably want Bronson to win it without Chad Gable being a part of it. They want him to do it on
Yeah,
his own,
you want the monster to win on his own.
and that might be what pushes him over that hump that right now he's at.
Yeah. But that leads us to the last match. We got about 7 minutes left. That's more than enough to talk about this one. Cody versus Logan. I will tell you this: if you've never seen Logan Paul wrestle, and Cody's good, but if you've never saw Logan Paul wrestle and you watch this match, my dad only saw highlights of it. I gave him my Peacock information. Peacock, get over it, and told him to watch it, and he's not done it yet. But he said from what he saw, Logan Paul is legitimate. And I said, Dad, I told you that 6 months ago, but Logan Paul can more than hold his own. He's a champion for a reason, not because he sells tickets, because he's actually respected and legitimate, across the way. And Cody put on his normal show that we knew was 4 to 4.5 stars no matter what. But Logan brought it to a level to prove that he's not just a U.S. champion type guy. He's not just an Intercontinental champion that maybe a couple years from now, if Logan has the heavyweight title, I'm not opposed to that.
I think what we're slowly seeing is Logan's previous couple matches have shown that he can carry a main event.
Mhm.
He did come on as at the very beginning of his wrestling career as it's my name that got me here. It's And I think he proved to the most importantly to the guys in the back that
Yep.
he's here to work. He's here to,
Yeah.
I'm not just a name. Yeah, everybody knows me because my name, but I'm here to work. I want to show that I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to pull the stupidest stunts. I'm going to do stuff that other people can't do. And and that's what he's done. And now uh in my mind, I compare him to a mixture of Edge and Chris Jericho. The stardom of Chris Jericho, the wrestling, the look of Edge, um,
He's following the
and
path of the Miz, though. He's going from reality star, even though his was
yes,
internet
yes,
reality star. He went in. Everybody said this guy's a joke. You only signed him because he's famous for being on TV and the internet. And then the Miz went in and was first guy in, last guy out of the gym every day until finally, even people like JBL said, "Look, I don't like him at all. I think he's an idiot." But the dude puts in the work.
and see that's what's got, and I think he's if I just don't know. Is he going to stick to WWE like the Miz? Is he going to stay around? Is he this going to be his career, or is this just something he's like, I'm going to do this for about 5 or 6 years, and I'm going to go see what else my name can get me into? Because if he sticks with it, he could end up being even bigger than the Miz.
Oh yeah,
Um, and I could see him carrying a WrestleMania 2 years down. I don't see it next year. Don't see it happening. It's going to take a couple years for him to be the main event of a WrestleMania, but he will be eventually he will be a world champion if he sticks around.
yeah,
And
and I think
and I
he
think
knows that.
yeah. I mean it's because he puts the work in. It was a good match. And he's a great storyteller. Like he knows how to play the role for being a storyteller.
Oh yeah,
Um, which he did a lot with the Knucks. I mean, yes, he does what they tell him to do, but he still has to perform when he's in the ring by himself with
right.
whoever he's in there. So it was a great match. We knew he wasn't going to, and that's what's even bigger to me. He was able to make a match that everybody knew he wasn't going to win. Everybody knew there's no way he was going to win, and he still made it entertaining to where for a
Oh yeah,
split second, a couple times, he was like, "Wait, are they going to try and pull this off?" So I gave to me that was my favorite match of the night. That was bigger than the Gunther and Randy for me.
yeah, yeah. I got to give it to that because it it had I not realized halfway through the Becky versus Liv match that it only could go one way because of everything we talked about. Before that, that was turned into one of my favorite matches, and
It,
I liked
it,
the
it
way
was
it
a
went
good
and
one.
everything. But then when I realized that there was only one way out of it, where, like you said, Logan had me believing a few times. I was like, "Look, I've said Cody's run's only about one or two opponents away from being over, and it's nothing personal, Cody. But he came back, he did his story. They have too many people that need a chance at the belt, and Cody's kind of clogging it up right now. So that's why I feel like one of his next two opponents are going to take the belt off of him. I don't know which
Like
one yet.
this puts me in mind of once again we get touch on the Miz when the Miz was the middle guy taking the belt from John Cena to who CM Punk or The Rock or something. The Miz was the middle guy for a split second. That he was just the transition guy.
Was it Punk? I don't feel like it was The Rock because I know he holds a victory over The Rock in a 3-way at like WrestleMania or something. So
But he was the transition guy, and I could, and for a split thing, I was like, could this be the transition guy to move the title to the next person? So, but I don't know, man. Out of five, I give the pay-per-view a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, and it's because I felt like there were two. This is gonna be crazy. Too few matches. I just
yep,
didn't feel like there was enough matches. I want to see and when it's a pay-per-view, or I'm sorry, a PLE, whatever they call them. I want seven
premium
matches.
live event.
Yes, I want seven matches at
I want
least.
at least six.
Yeah, okay. Well, I would say I want seven. I want a seventh one that
Yeah.
because that gives. But at the same time, it was in Saudi Arabia, so that might have been why some people didn't go. Um,
There were some visa issues. I don't remember who, but there were some issues such as that. Certain people weren't allowed in the country. I think it had to do with some of the bloodline, but I don't know which ones.
mm, so that's interesting. But yeah, it was a good pay-per-view. It was a good one. Just and usually King of the Ring back in the day, it wasn't never a big pay-per-view. It used to be just whoever's in the King of the Ring tournament, and that's all the matches, and then you were done.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Although if people, if any two people were going to go have three matches in a night and then meet and have a great match in the final, it was Gunther and Randy.
I agree 110%. And just the
But yeah,
same thing could have been said for, well, no, I wouldn't say that about Nia. I mean, Nia, whatever. Or
no,
I don't know
no.
the other girl good enough or Nia.
Lyra would have been close, but we only got about 20 seconds left. So that is our
Okay.
King and Queen of the Ring fabulous
Thanks,
wrestling talk.
guys. We had a good time.
He uh he is Daniel Snyder. Say your info real quick.
Daniel Snyder 8361.
There you go. 8361. Daniel Snyder 8361. Watch him on Twitch, watch him play video games. He's really good. We'll
YouTube.
see you guys next time. Deuces gooses.